Chapter 1: The Perfect Facade. Dr. Ngozi Okoro adjusted her white coat, smoothing the fabric over her hips as if she could press away the emptiness inside her. The plaque on her office door gleamed under the fluorescent lights, Dr. Okoro, fertility specialist. The irony wasn't lost on her. She had just delivered miraculous news to her last patient, "You're pregnant," while her own womb remained a barren fortress. Her phone buzzed. A message from Ode: "Don't forget dinner with mother at 8. She exhaled sharply. Mama Ade's casual dinners were never casual. They were battlegrounds where her childlessness was the unspoken enemy. The door creaked open. Bimpe, her newest patient, sashayed in, her curves accentuated by a tight Ankara dress. "Doctor, I just know this cycle will work," she chirped, flipping her braids. "My grandmother had 9 children. No stress." Ngozi forced a smile, scribbling notes to avoid Bimpe's gleaming eyes. "Fertile. Smug. The kind of woman Mama Ode adores." At home, Ode loosened his tie, his gaze distant. "You're late again." "Emergency consult," she lied. She hadn't told him about this month's negative test. Or the last 12. Mama Ode arrived in a cloud of heavy perfume, kissing Ade's cheeks while barely nodding at Ngozi. "Over egusi soup," she sighed. "Ode, your cousin Uche's wife just had twins. And here you are, the first son, with nothing." Ade's jaw tightened. "Mother, please." Ngozi's grip on her fork turned white-knuckled. Mama Ode smirked. "A lioness who cannot bear cubs is just a cat." Chapter 2: The Enemy Inside. The text burned in Ngozi's mind like acid. She had seen it, just a glimpse as Ode showered, his phone left carelessly on the bed. The notification from Bimpe glowed mockingly: "Can't wait for lunch tomorrow, winky face." Ngozi's fingers hovered over the screen. Open it. Confirm your fears, but the sound of water shutting off forced her to step away, her pulse jagged. At the clinic the next day, Bimpe arrived late, her lips glossy, her laughter too bright. "Traffic was terrible," she sighed, stretching her arms in a way that made her blouse gape slightly. Ngozi noted the faint scent of Ade's cologne, eternity by Calvin Klein, lingering on her. "Let's check your hormone levels," Ngozi said, her voice steady as she prepared the syringe. Bimpe giggled. "You're lucky, doctor. You get to help women get pregnant." "Me? I just think about a man and," she mimed a swelling belly. The needle plunged deeper than necessary. Bimpe yelped. That evening, Mama Ode called. "Come to dinner Sunday. Bimpe will be there." Ngozi's grip on the phone tightened. "Why?" "She's family now," Mama Ode said lightly. "Potential family." Ode, chopping vegetables nearby, didn't look up. The dinner was a slow execution. Bimpe sat beside Ode, her knee brushing his under the table. Mama Ode served her first, heaping her plate with jollof rice. "Eat, oh mommy," she crooned. "My child." Ngozi stabbed at her fish, the bones cracking. "So, Ode," Bimpe purred, "you never told me you love Irish music." Ode blinked. "I don't. But you played it at lunch yesterday." Silence. Ade's eyes flicked to Ngozi. Caught, Ngozi stood in the pharmacy room of her clinic, Bimpe's file open. Clomiphene citrate, 50 mg daily, a fertility drug. Her gloved hand hovered over the pills. Then, with clinical precision, she swapped the dosage. 25 mg, half the effect. A shadow moved outside the door. Nurse F, her sharp eyes reflecting in the dim light.
Chapter 3: The Poison Womb. The argument started the moment Ode walked through the door. "You lied to me." Ngozi held his phone onto the marble floor, the screen shattering like their fragile piece. The text, "Can't wait for lunch tomorrow," still glowed accusingly between them. Ode exhaled, running a hand over his face. "Ngozi, I swear on my mother's grave, nothing happened with Bimpe. She's just what? Flirting. Planning a future. Her voice cracked. While Mama Ode gifts her my child's bracelet, a muscle twitched in its jaw. He reached for her, but she recoiled. You're being paranoid. At the clinic, Ngozi did the unthinkable. Bimpe lay on the exam table, humming as Ngozi drew her blood. Doctor, you're so gentle, she simpered. Ngozi forced a smile. Gentle. Like the hands that had swapped her pills. Like the voice that would soon lie. The lab results confirmed it by noon. Bimpe's baby wasn't AIDS. Ngozi should have been relieved. Instead, she folded the report and slipped it into her pocket. Let him sweat. Let him ache like I have. Dinner at Mama 8 was a coronation. Bimpe held court, her belly showing but her triumph undeniable. Ode, taste this Ifo Riro, she cooed, feeding him from her fork. Mama Ode beamed. Then, with ceremonial gravitas, she slid a velvet box across the table. For my grandchild. The heirloom bracelet, gold beads strung with coral, meant for Ngozi's firstborn, glinted in Bimpe's greedy hands. Ngozi's wineglass slipped, staining the linen crimson. Oops. Night 4. Ngozi's office, the plant on her desk, a gift from Ode on their wedding day, had one yellowed leaf left. She snapped it off. Doctor. Nurse F stood in the doorway, holding the sabotaged medication file. Her expression was unreadable. Ngozi's pulse roared. How much do you want? F smiled. Everything. Flashback, 1995. 7-year-old Ngozi huddled behind a door, listening as her father introduced his new wife. Her mother's muffled sobs etched a vow into her bones. Chapter 4, The Blood Test. The blackmail began at dawn. F's text buzzed against Ngozi's thigh as she scrubbed her hands raw in the clinic sink. Meet me at the abandoned pharmacy warehouse. 8 p.m. Come alone, or the medical board sees everything. The water turned pink where her nails bit into her palms. Ode didn't come home for dinner. His location showed Bimpe's apartment. Ngozi stared at the pulsing dot until her vision blurred. Then she did what desperate women do. She called Mama Ade. My son is where he belongs, the old woman hissed. With a woman who can give him heirs, the heirloom bracelet taunted her from the news. Bimpe had flaunted it on Instagram. Blessed future Mama. The warehouse smelled of rotten medicine. F emerged from shadows, waving the incriminating file. I want your clinic. Your house. And 60% of your IVF fees. Ngozi laughed, a broken, jagged sound. I'd rather burn it all. F's smile died when the syringe plunged into her neck. Bimpe miscarried that night. Screams echoed through the ER as Ngozi, on duty, watched the monitors flatline. Bimpe trashed, clutching her belly. My baby. You did this. Ode burst in, still buttoning his shirt. His eyes locked on Ngozi's blood-smeared scrubs. The police came at 3 a.m. Not for the miscarriage. Not for F's disappearance. But because Bimpe's blood work showed arsenic, traced to Ngozi's private stash of fertility herbs. As they cuffed her, Ode whispered the unforgivable, I wish I'd married her first. Chapter 5, The Empty Nursery. The prison visiting room smelled of antiseptic and lost chances. Ngozi stared at the hollow-eyed woman in the reflection, orange jumpsuit, unbraided hair, the once impeccable nails now beaten to bloody crescents. 2 years since her arrest. 5 since she'd last touched a stethoscope. Ode walked in. He looked older. Thinner. His wedding band was gone. You came, she said. He slid a photo across the table. A toddler with Bimpe's nose, but his eyes. Our son. Born 3 months after your sentencing. Ngozi's lungs collapsed. Impossible, the dates, IVF. With my sperm samples you stored at the clinic. His voice cracked. We could have, if you'd just trusted me. Flashback, the night before the arrest Ngozi had stood in the nursery she'd prepared years ago, now just a storage room. Between boxes of diapers, she'd found F's missing phone, and the real blood test. Bimpe had never been pregnant. The miscarriage. A paid actor scream, fake blood bags, Mama 8 orchestrated lie to push Ode away from his barren wife. She'd burned the evidence. Some truths help no one. Present day Ode pressed his forehead to the glass. Why didn't you tell me? Ngozi touched her own reflection where his skin almost met hers. You looked so happy when they took me away. The guard coughed. Time was up. As Ode turned to leave, she whispered the question that had kept her alive, does he know about me? Ode paused. He calls her mommy. 6 months later the warden handed Ngozi a parcel, a medical journal addressed in its handwriting, tucked between pages on neonatal care, a single coral bead from the bracelet. Outside, rain fell like a baptism. Somewhere beyond the walls, a child who might have been hers laughed in the storm. Ngozi closed her eyes. And for the first time in years, she did no harm.